Storytelling, Project 2, Let's Get Personal. The title of this is The Lusty Cry. Nothing, and I mean nothing, is more deafening than the pregnant pause, the pregnant silence in a delivery room when a cry does not follow that slap. Nothing brings fear to the heart of a mother more than that. This particular baby, on a really blustery, cold, wintry November morning, was not bringing forth that lusty cry. The doctor frantically tried shaking the baby, suctioning out the baby's throat, and hit again. Still no sound, and the mother began crying and clutched her breast. No, don't let this happen. But in the midst of that, the doctor heard a little meh, meh. No lusty cry. Just a little sound like the mewling of a baby kitten. But at least it was life. At least there was hope now. Fellow Toastmasters, how do I know this story? I was that baby. I was that baby that refused to emit a lusty cry. Indeed, for 2 months I stayed in the hospital, struggling for my life. Never did have a lusty cry for 2 months. The doctors prepared my parents for the eventual death of me. You can see it didn't happen. 2 months later, by the grace of God, the wonderful work and skill of doctors, and the help of a wonderful newfangled invention of an antibiotic called penicillin, at 2 months of age, I went home. And my doctors told my mother and daddy, now don't let her be too active. She's weak. She's fragile. Her lungs are not very strong. She's anemic. We're going to have to watch her probably all of her life. She'll never be an athlete, but if we watch her, she can live a normal life. And he was right. I was spindly, skinny, anemic, asthmatic, a weakling. But my parents didn't say, oh, you can't do that, don't run. Be careful, be careful. None of that for them. It was, okay, see what you can do. And when I couldn't do it, grab me up, take me to the hospital yet again. Now, it didn't happen every day. But I learned early about struggle. I learned that if you want to do something, you just have to do it. If you didn't have life, if you didn't enter life with a lusty cry, you just embrace life with a lusty cry from then on. I don't know why it was instilled in me to struggle and not be afraid of the struggle. Maybe it was innate. But all my life, I've been willing to accept a challenge. I remember as a young girl, I wanted to play ball when they said, you can't run. You'll have an asthma attack. I ran. I had an asthma attack. I ran again. Eventually, the doctor said, you know, I think it's helping. I think she's getting stronger. I wanted to play ball. And everybody said, girls don't play ball. There's a little clause in the little league book that says girls don't play baseball. So I said, Daddy, I want to play ball. My daddy came home the next day with a first baseman's mitt. And he said, let's go. We went out in the yard. We played catch. He, myself, and my sister. My sister was pretty good. She was healthy. My daddy got up a softball team. Well, now he's the coach. He gets to put the positions out there. Guess who the pitcher-catcher duo was? My sister was the pitcher. Guess who caught? Now, I was the weakling. I wasn't a really strong player, but I gave it all that I had. My sister went on to become an all-state pitcher. My struggle was a little different. I struggled just to be a player. But you know what? That was okay, because I learned it's not the winning, It's the striving. It's the struggle. It's the knowing what you can do, challenging your limits. Remember, I learned that from the time I was born. So when my sister got all state honors, I said, guess who gave her the target so that she could? And when she chalked up a win as a pitcher, I chalked up one for the team because I was part of it. And the struggle was worth it. The stretching my limits was worth it because I enjoyed her glory, her accomplishment, and my accomplishment at just playing. Some years later, I was a senior in high school. My guidance counselor called me in as a senior and said, "What do you plan to do when you graduate from high school?" Well, I'm going to college. I'm going to go to college. I'm going to be a teacher. And one day I hope to write. And she said, "Don't your parents work at the mill?" "Yes, ma'am, but I don't understand." And she said, "I think maybe you ought to just go to the mill and see if they have a job for you. Maybe you could go to the office and see if they could use you in the office. But I think that's all maybe you should aspire to. After all, you can't really afford college." "But they have scholarships, ma'am." "Oh, not for you." "But I'm an honor student." You've exceeded your expectations already. To say I left her office in tears is an understatement. I was devastated. I don't know what I'll do. All I ever wanted to do was go to college. Fortunately, I had another teacher who said, "You can do it." And my other teacher, and I'll share her name, Miss Burris, she's still one of the shining stars in my life. Not only did she encourage me to go to college, she helped me get a scholarship. She made it known what scholarships were available, and I received an academic scholarship to a college. I've wished many times that my old high school guidance counselor had been alive when I walked across that stage and got my diploma. Not just got my diploma, but a big gold seal on it that said magna cum laude. Now, I don't use that diploma much these days. I don't pay attention or notice that big seal. It's not even on display anywhere. But I know I did it. I know what it took to go from a teacher telling me that I couldn't do it to proving that I could, the working at it, because I learned that the struggle is everything. Grabbing what you can out of life. What have I grabbed in life? People told me I couldn't. I climbed to the top of Sydney Harbor Bridge, tethered to the bridge. I stood on a glacier in Alaska and drove a dog sled. I stood at Machu Picchu, Peru, and climbed the ruins when only 4 of us were willing to climb to the highest point. I did it because I wanted to participate in life. I wanted to grab all that I could grab because I learned early that life is not certain, and we better grab what we can while we can. I didn't emit a lusty cry when I was born, but I've been emitting a lusty cry for life ever since. What excites you? What excites you? What challenges you? Grab it. Make it happen. Give your lusty cry today.